Looking back on how far we've come here at Trojan Academy.
What have we been up to?
Competition in
winning.
You've been winning.
We've been winning.
Not always fun to do. It just seems to be that every time we do a Trojan Academy grading belt promotion, I do look back. And I look back at how far we have come. I started Jiu-Jitsu in 2008 here in Tasmania. I entered into the sport coming off the back of my bodybuilding career.
Darran Petty's story is one of achievement against the odds.
Started bodybuilding in the year 2000 because I was lost. I was deep in drugs and alcohol. Obviously then bodybuilding saved me from that when I was 19 years old. I wasn't trying to be the best. I wasn't trying to be a champion. I was just trying to fix my life. I was certainly trying to be the best I could be. Mr. Tasmania, Mr. Australia, and then competed at the Mr. Universe competition in Germany. 2007 was my final competition in Nordheim, Germany. And on the way back on the plane, I decided to stop bodybuilding. Went from bodybuilding straight into jiu-jitsu. Back then, jiu-jitsu wasn't taken seriously back in the day. And I came into it wanting to be very serious, taking training seriously, and then moving into competition. 2008, at the time, I was training every day, every single class that I could attend. And because of my bodybuilding career, I had an expectation. So there I was, training as hard as I could, as often as I could, trying to become the best version of myself in jiu-jitsu. And that wasn't taken seriously. And I struggled with that. The people that I was training with, I guess, didn't see me coming and didn't realise how driven I was. And I guess when you're not really that driven, it's easy to be offended by people that are. And I get that now. I understand that it would have been hard to be around me. So the first 5 years of my jiu-jitsu career, I was training, competing, losing, winning, all of that stuff. 2012-ish, I'd kind of had enough of the unprofessionalism of jiu-jitsu in my state. And I approached the coaches and I said, look, we need to take a different pathway. We need to level up. We need to professionalise what we're doing. Even the little things meant the world to me. The belts with the black tabs, I made a stand for that. And I said, that's it. We're doing belts with black tabs, 4 stripes on each belt. At the time, they were stitching on fabric, coloured fabric onto the belts. And to me, it just wasn't anything. It wasn't taking it seriously. People were being graded belts around their shorts, not in uniform. And to me, that wasn't good enough. I guess the one thing that really pushed me away from the people that ran jiu-jitsu in this state was when I was on the way to a competition to the north of the state and I was going to compete as a white belt and the bus had a flat tyre. We hopped out, we changed the tyre. After we'd finished changing the tyre on the side of the road, I and a couple of others were awarded our blue belts on the bus. And I took that to heart. I really didn't like that. It really wasn't how it should be. That moment broke me off, put me off course to what trajectory these people were trying to push jiu-jitsu in the state. And it seemed as if it was just one big joke. And that wasn't where I was going. Then I guess a lot of incidences like not taking the sport seriously. The competitions were run very badly. I started to become disgruntled by the whole thing. The final straw for me, when I did ultimately split away from the group, was when somebody showed me a video of one of our instructors choking white belt students unconscious, and that was it. I was out. I'd approached the head instructor and said, we have to make a change. We have to change things up, make things more professional. And I said, I'll stay for a year. And if in that time we can make it more professional and do things about this, I'll stay. I was coaching the kids and pursuing that passion. The year lapsed and I made my decision to create my own academy. Very difficult decision to make because those instructors had become my friends. But it's hard to be around people that you don't respect, and I had to make the move for not only me, but for the people that wanted to take it seriously around me. The instructors could see the writing on the wall, I guess. Stopped showing up to classes. Looking back now, sitting here talking, I can see that I would have been difficult to be around. When you're in a situation where you're comfortable with the status quo of things, I guess it's hard to be around people that are driven. So I broke away from the community and started my own academy. Very difficult thing to do. At that time, my sister was sick with cancer. She passed away in 2013 as I just started the academy. The people that came with me in that split, Izzy Simsich, Dan Cannell, Sam McMillan, still with me here today. So there I was, trying to start my own academy. The death of my sister rocked me to my core. That same year, I was a purple belt and I'd entered into the Melbourne International. I had to do that. I had to keep moving forward. If I learnt anything from the death of my sister, it's that you can't undo some things. You have to keep moving forward. You have to persist and be consistent. You have to... Life goes on. I had a feeling that my sister didn't want me to stop what I was doing in my life. So I kept moving forward. 2013, I competed at the Melbourne International competition and I beat the amazing Craig Jones. I often joke about it in my academy now with the guys. Every now and then we'll throw it up. You know, I beat Craig that day with a 30-second ankle lock in the stands after that match. After I'd won all that tournament and won every match, I sat in the stands and I cried, you know. I felt guilty that I was there. I felt guilty celebrating. And I sat in the stands that day in Melbourne and decided I'm going to really put my life into this academy. Craig went off and became who he is today. Arguably Australia's best competitor ever and firmly putting jiu-jitsu on the map for Australia. When I got back from that competition, I went all in. As anyone who runs a small business knows, it's very difficult with leases and whatnot. Been bankrupt at 21. I was convicted of drug trafficking steroids in 2011. So it was impossible almost for me to get leases and be taken seriously. So I would organise dodgy leases and dodgy deals with people to get buildings and things, and I'd sleep in the buildings. From place to place to place to place, from business relationship to business relationship. I was really struggling, but I tried my best, always putting one foot in front of the other. And then, in 2017, I'd organised with a friend of mine who just had a series of warehouses built here in Kingston, organised to move Trojan Academy into one of these. At the time we moved in, the day we moved in, there was no power points in the wall. We had to run a cable from the other warehouses in here to put lights in here. We put the mats down and we started training. That was my style. Train no matter what, under whatever circumstance, doesn't matter. Just get it done. And we got it done. For the first 6 months of Trojan Academy, where I'm sitting right now, just above me, I slept here. Had one of my students, Brad Thompson, build above the office here a bedroom for me. To everyone else, it was a storage cupboard, but for me, it was my bedroom. And I slept in there on an army cot, a flat, raised bed. Very difficult times. And since 2017, Trojan Academy has had a remarkable journey. Competition jiu-jitsu, we take it seriously. We make sure that everyone is represented well on the mat by providing technical coaching. Of course, I tell my students it's not about winning. It's about arriving. It's about the complete journey, the training, the competition, and how you hold yourself after. I take that stuff very seriously. So do my students. We enter a building together, we compete together, we leave together. I guess that's a good segue to quickly talk about how I named Trojan Academy. There's a few controversial thought processes around how I named this place. No, it has got nothing to do with Trojan condoms. Nothing at all. Wasn't even in my mind. I named Trojan Academy after the Trojan War. And the way I view it is that we enter a competition as the warhorse. We enter in, we compete, and then we leave. But nothing to do with Trojan condoms. Myself and my coaches, Izzy, Dan and Sam, we put everything we've got into our teens and adults. We deliver as much technique on any given night as we possibly can, sparing nothing, giving everything. And our students here are very technical, and we pride ourselves on that. And I guess this brings me kind of to the end of my thought process on how far we've come as an academy. When I first started training in jiu-jitsu in 2008, I'd previously been a child carer. I loved working with children. I loved being the person to these children that I didn't have. That's what I loved about, and the reason why I started childcare in 1999, 2000. And then I wanted to bring my knowledge to jiu-jitsu to kids, of which I'd learnt it at being a child carer. I started doing that with the kids in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. And again, I took it very seriously. Lots of fun, but serious fun. And now, as you can see through the content that we put out on social media, a lot of which is my interactions with children. It is my lifelong passion to work with children. I made a social media post this morning that I wrote this morning at 2 o'clock in the morning. I have a lot of epiphanies for some reason at 2 o'clock in the morning. I wrote a post about my passion and love for working with children. Starting childcare in 1999, trying to study a university degree in 2004, which I just couldn't do. Just couldn't sit around and do that. It's tough. That's why I feel blessed to have my Trojan Academy, because I'm able to coach these kids in a few more ways than one. I'm able to not only give these kids jiu-jitsu, both self-defense and competition, but I'm also able to give them confidence. Let's all practice clapping. Ready?
Today, we're going to practice clapping. Everyone, practice clapping.
Over the years, we've seen kids come in here that struggle to hold their heads up, turn themselves into confident young people. And it's amazing. We've come a long way at Trojan Academy over the years. It's our 10th year now, 2013 to 2023. We've come an extraordinarily long way. All the while taking what we do here extremely seriously. From the belts, to the stripes, to the black tab, to the uniforms, from gi to no gi, from self-defense, fitness and competition jiu-jitsu, we continue to take it seriously. The next generation of jiu-jitsu in Tasmania is very, very bright. We're going to make sure of that. I guess something to finish on here would be, if I can give some advice to anyone that is looking for some advice in this field, is that if what you want in life doesn't exist, create it. Back yourself. Believe in yourself. And never, ever give up. Ever. I haven't. You shouldn't. That is me looking back from our recent kids grading. Looking back at where we've come from. I often get asked about what Trojan Academy is all about. That's what we're all about. That's where we've come from. It's not an easy truth, but it is the truth. Have I been easy to deal with over the years? No, not at all. But I'm driven. I'm fiercely driven. And I don't apologise for that. Right now, we're sitting here in the academy. I'm thinking about all the things that I've just spoken about and how far we've come, and filled with pride. Sitting here with who you can't see in the back of these cameras, my two favourite students. I shouldn't have favourite students, but I do. Jordana and Cara. They've been training with me since they were 7 years old. They've been training here since they were 7 years old. They're now 15, turning 16. They are green belts, which is the top of the teen faction. They've worked their way through white, grey, yellow, orange, green, and their next belt coming up on their 16th birthday, at the minimum requirement, is blue belt. And we're looking very much forward to that, aren't we, girls? Yes, I'll put them on the camera in a minute. I want to thank everyone that's ever been involved in Trojan Academy, whether you've had a positive or a negative impact. Without all of you, none of this would be what it is today. Thank you to all the new people that are involved. We have a wonderful group of Muay Thai fighters, led by the amazing Derek Hickman. Thank you, Derek, for everything that you do for your crew. What you've done here, under the circumstances, Derek, absolutely amazing. Very proud. I see a lot of myself in Derek. He's driven. For good reason, which we'll talk about soon. Marie-Elise Gart, the Trojan Academy manager, runs this whole thing. These days, I'm in a position where I just rock up and coach, train. Without Marie, none of that would be possible. None of this new era of Trojan Academy would be possible. She is the smiling face at which you are greeted at Trojan Academy every day. She takes care of all the behind-the-scenes stuff, the sign-ups, the meet and greets, the orders, the apparel, the social media. absolutely amazing what you do. And we are all appreciative of you, Marie. Brad Thompson, you've been a monumental part of Trojan Academy since you started. You're now a brown belt. You're headed towards black belt. You're a competitor. But for those who don't know, all the work that you've done here in Trojan Academy, on Trojan Academy, absolutely amazing, and I'm so thankful for you. I know, bro. I owe you a lot. A lot. I've put you through some experiences in Trojan Academy and everything else that I do. You put up with me, Brad, and I'm thankful. And I cannot wait to meet you at black belt. My black belts, Sam, Dan, and Izzy. Thank you guys. You've been around me for 10 years, 10 plus years. Izzy Simsich is coming up to 13 years. My two favourite students in the whole wide world who are in the room right now, helping me do this filming, learning about cameras and lights. And they started here when they were 7 years old. Their whole family trains at Trojan Academy. And I'm so thankful for you guys. They can hear me right now. They're looking at me weirdly, but I appreciate you guys. It's funny, you know, I'll finish on this. When you put passion and put your life into something, a funny thing happens. For any of you that are thinking about going down this pathway, either starting your own academy or breaking away from a community, you should back yourself and believe yourself. That's it. That's what I wanted to say. That's my thought process on looking back on Trojan Academy, of which I do every time we have a grading. I look back at how far we've come, and I'm proud. And I'm thankful. And here we are. We are Trojan Academy. Why don't we have Jordana and Cara come up and sit in this seat and talk?
Hi, I'm Jordana. Hi guys, I'm Cara. I am a green belt and I've been training at Trojan since I was 7 years old. I'm happy I do.
I've been training here for nearly 10 years.
Working up to blue belt, purple belt, all up to black. And I'm a coach for the kids class.
Teach the kids all the things they need to know about self-defense and what they can do in competitions.
If you think about training jiu-jitsu, just go for it. Will be worth it in the end.
I really love Trojan. It's an amazing place, a good place for community. We'll teach you how to protect yourself. So if you're thinking about training jiu-jitsu, you should. It's good for anyone. It's a good experience for any age, any ability.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.